going on, guys? So today we're talking about the best-selling cards in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! And boxes as well. We're actually just going to focus heavily on Wild Survivors, which is cool because we open the first page, we see the box itself is sitting at number 1 as the best-selling card or product in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Number 3 is Ground Xeno. From Wild Survivors, a lot of really good reprints. What is that, 9? I don't know if it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or if it's the other way. Like I actually don't know because I don't work for TCG Player. I don't like make the algorithm for the website, but I would assume because most people read top to bottom, left to right, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the 9th best selling card in all of Yu-Gi-Oh, or actually 9th best product, 7th best card is Vanquish Soul Razin, also from Wild Survivors, and another Vanquish. A lot of people are really hyped about Vanquish Soul though. So we're just gonna jump right into Wild Survivors, starting with, of course, the booster box itself. If you guys, I always do my best to try to reply to the comments as quickly as often as possible. If you guys would like me to focus on product more and less on cards, make sure you guys let me know in those comments down below. I can do like a separate market watch. I'm not opposed to the idea of like this is specifically for cards, this is specifically for products. My only worry though there is I don't know if there is enough content to constantly be posting that every single week. So that's why usually I'll talk about both product, like boxes and structure decks, and cards in the same market watch. Just let me know though. I'm always here for nice and honest feedback. But under $70 feels really good for this box. You might want to try to play the waiting game, see if you can get it for 65. I mean, it was on May 22nd, it was 63. On May 26th, it was 61. But it quickly fixes itself. If you can get it for under 65, you might as well try. But I think under 70 is really good value for this. When we take a look, let's start with the fun stuff. You got to go big first, right? You just got to out the gate, go with the best fun stuff. There's 15 collector's rares. Let's talk about most of them. So the best selling collector's rares right now for Wild Survivors is Staker's Soul, interestingly enough. That's why I did not expect that. But like I said, people are excited about Vanquish Soul, and honestly, $80 isn't that bad for a collector's rare. The most expensive Hungry Burger. The most expensive, I forgot that was in there. Well, I knew it was in there. I forgot it was a collector's rare. Tenki collector's rare feels really good. That's what we'll do. We'll just click on this. This is another really good collector's rare. But the best-selling soul-eating Oviraptor UCT goes without saying. I just want to look at this one just for the meme. Fossil Dig is also a really good one. Any Dino stuff, any Vanquish Soul stuff, those are going to be your good collector's rares. I mean, literally the best-selling collector's rares are all the Vanquish Soul stuff. I personally, I don't think Vanquish Soul is going to be that great. But it is, this is first wave of support. Could be solid. Right, Warriors, Fire, that's all. That's really good, right? So I know that might sound very like generic, like, oh, Warrior and Fire is good, get that, ha ha ha. But no, in all honesty, like, there is a lot of support for Warriors cards. There's not as much support for Fire, and obviously, like, this is Dragon, that's huge too. This is Fiend, Machine. So it's got that going for it, which is why there can only be one. Is a collector's rare as well. I would be on the lookout for that as well. The main thing I'm trying to say is this. I don't think Vanquish Soul is going to be like tier 1, super great meta-defining deck. But it could be like interesting. And so it's just something I would be on the lookout for. If you're able to pull it, I wouldn't be too upset about that. But I feel like the collector's rare are probably what's keeping this box so low. The collector's rare aren't that crazy. But if we take a look at Fire Formation Tenki, I think this is the highest rarity of Tenki. I think Tenki may have an ultimate printing. There's a lot of printings of Fire Formation Tenki. It does, in fact, have an Astral Pack ultimate. So that's probably always going to be number 1. Yeah, that's probably always going to be number 1. But this collector's rare is pretty solid. And, you know, if you can get it for under 40, I could very easily see this being a $50 collector's rare. So if you can get it for under 40, I would try to pull the trigger. Like I always say, spend your money how you feel type situation. This card, as well as just, I don't know why I clicked on this card. Like, all the Dino stuff and all the Vanquish Soul stuff is solid. If you can get it for like less than, you know, TCG Marketplace, you know, a lot of times people will do that. If they sell cards to you IRL, they'll sell it to you at 80% TCG, because when you sell stuff on TCG, usually it's about 20%, especially at the higher end of cards. It's just up to you how you want to do that. If you can get it for the low, like 50, like under 50 for this, that could be really good. And like I said, just out of pure curiosity, I was wondering what this card was doing. I mean, it is a advanced ritual art target. Yeah, I would steer clear of this card, but still funny. It's still funny. Just because I would steer clear of it doesn't make it not funny. And when we take a look at this card, Ground Xeno, I think I said that right. Interesting. You know, Dinosaur is kind of getting to a spot. As long as Miscellaneous Stegosaurus is in the format, it's going to be kind of a tier 2, tier 3 type deck. Like, it's going to be a good rogue option as long as Miscellaneous Stegosaurus is wandering around, because it's such a powerful card. And they have a lot of really great cards, like Ground Xeno, like Fossil Dig, like UCT, like So Even Overraptor, like the card we were just looking at, the level 1, Amactrid, I don't know its name. But when we look at it, I just completely butchered that. What was his name? I think it's, it's not even, there it is. Amandorn Archosaur. I always call him the dinosaur level 1, because what other dinosaur level 1 is there, right? But no, I think that in terms of whether or not these are good cards to buy, I think they're great cards to buy. I think all the Dino stuff is really good. I think the Vanquish Soul stuff, you know, kind of like the TLDR of all of this is the Vanquish Soul stuff I would be steering clear of. I like the fact that, you know, the Machine, Fiend, Warrior, Dark Fire, like it's a bunch of different stuff. So when you have an archetype that's a bunch of different types, that can be good. Because you can run a lot of different random support. Like this deck can run Rhoda and Allure of Darkness, right? That's pretty crazy. But like, I don't know if it's going to be a good enough deck going forward. Like, I know dinosaurs, ever since the Dino Smasher structure that came out like 10 years ago or however long ago that was, it's been like an amazing deck, right? So I try to pick up as many dinosaur stuff as possible. I will say about this specifically, this could be a good buy though, because this is the kind of like the best card in the deck, right? And so unless decks are poo-poo, doo-doo, like, okay, we'll go like this. I'll give an example. Nordic. Not a good deck, right? Terrible deck. We can all agree, right? When we take a look at Nordic, right? We have the Ultimate Rare for $4. Let me just do this because this is going to take forever. I didn't realize there's going to be 4 pages of Nordic support. Okay, so the most expensive card is $4, right? Which, like, we can all agree, $4, not that much, right? Especially nowadays, right? And we can all agree, Nordic, terrible archetype. I couldn't agree more, right? And actually, I want to kind of look at the Synchro Monsters. I bet you the Synchro Monsters are, because I don't even know what the Synchro Monsters names are. Okay, I'm not going that deep into this, but the point that I'm trying to make is this. Let me switch this before I go all the way back. When you're talking about like any archetypes, their best card is almost always fairly expensive. I'll do another one because this deck was my favorite deck of all time, and it just recently got announced that it's going to get support. This one might not actually, because Yaksha's at like what, $1.50? Yeah, that's not that big. Onslaught's been expensive before, Yeah, no, it's not now though. Circle got to like $1 one time. The structure deck's relatively expensive, which is weird. So this isn't the best example either. But point that I'm trying to make is this, and here's the thing too. Like, I don't think Vanquished Souls is as bad as Nordic or as Fire King, right? So this card has a lot of potential, and it's only sitting at about 25, a little bit under $25. If you can get it for under 24, you could definitely be in a really good spot. I know it was at $10 at the end of May, but there's a reason why it's starting to creep back up. Because people are like, well, wait a minute. Now, just because this archetype might not be that good doesn't mean that this card isn't that good, right? That's what's interesting, too. This is generic, I just realized. I just read it. I just like, well, obviously, I knew what the card did, but I just fully read it to see if there was any restrictions. There really aren't, because I thought for sure it would say something like, you can only summon Vanquished Soul monsters. You can only summon Dark or Fire monsters, right? There's really actually just no restrictions on it at all. Like, you can reveal an Ash Blossom and summon out a Vanquished Soul monster. So, even as an engine, it's really good. So, I think that would probably be the best card. Now, what card would you couple with it? Probably this one. Maybe not. Yeah, it just depends on the situation. I don't know the archetype well enough, but I could see that card getting, sort of used and abused in other strategies, right? The Link monster as well. Link 1 monsters are always crazy. Link monster could definitely also be a really good buy, especially if you get it for like 18, 15 type thing, just like on the real low. As far as this stuff is concerned, I know, okay, you got to be careful watching, like, crazy FTK, 1 turn, 9 negate combo, like, videos, like those videos on YouTube. You got to be careful, because you don't know how long it took them to get that exact hand. What I always try to do when I'm watching those videos, just a pro tip, is I am watching for the opponent, what they're playing, how they're playing it, right? Like, if they're playing Kashtira with, like, Fire King of Rada in it, I'm going to be a little, because, like, well, Fire King of Rada can negate a monster effect by destroying a fire monster in its hand, right? And I got Fire King on my mind, too, so I know that's a thing, right? No, that's terrible, right? Like, that's not very good. Or if you see them, like, clearly making misplays, and that's why they're able to get stuff off. So, the point is, you may have seen, this recipe, Hungry Burger archetype, like, go crazy. I'm trying to find more Hungry Burger stuff real quick, and then we'll go back to that first page. Like, you might have seen some of this just, like, ritual recipe stuff go crazy. And who knows? Maybe it is going to be crazy. I just have my doubts. If I'm being honest. I just don't. I don't think so. It's up to you, though. Excuse me. I will say this. If the Hungry Burger stuff ends up being good, okay, just if I'm wrong about the Hungry Burger stuff, this is going to be a really good box to get, because I know the dinosaur stuff is going to be good. I know the Vanquish stuff is going to be okay, if not pretty good. And I think the only thing that's really bringing this down is that there's not like a really big chase card. There's not like a Triple Tactics Thrust, or I think that's the card's name, or like a Pot of Prosperity or a Baron de Fleur. There's not like a big Yu-Gi-Oh chase card, like the super expensive Yu-Gi-Oh card. None of those are really in here. There's not a card that's that good, but there could potentially be 3 really solid archetypes in here, right? Just something to keep in mind. Not something to stake your claim and hold your. Actually, I'm going to go to page 2 because we already talked about the collector's rare. But not something to just stake your claim for. This is insane. This is insane. We didn't get a chance to talk about this during the penny stocks because it hasn't come up yet. Probably because there's not a lot of dark decks. But like, if you look at all allures are $1, except one. So I would just, and it just got another reprint too in the Speed Duel box. But just be on the lookout for that. This card's big and wild. Do they run this? I know it's good. I know it's 3,800 and it has like a relatively solid effect, right? Especially from the graveyard, you can destroy 2 cards, one from your hand and one from your hand or field, one your opponent controls. If it's destroyed, shuffle a normal monster in your graveyard, then special summon this card back. So that's, like I said, really good. I don't know if people run it though. You probably can. I don't know. You guys let me know in those comments down below. I don't really follow that portion of dinosaurs very, very well. Pre-prep's interesting. It's interesting too, like the first page was all collector's rare, but the second page is all penny stocks. Not even like true penny stocks, like under $1 penny stocks, which I find to be very interesting. Eradicator could be a good buy. There can only be one. It's always good to have that card. That card's if you have the deck that can run it, it ends up just destroying certain decks. This card for 5 cents is crazy. This card for 4 cents is crazy. This card for 5 is crazy. I'm very curious to see all of the good Dino stuff is in here. Lost World reprint's really cool. Incantation stuff's okay. I like enemy control well enough. Is that really where we're at with this? It's just like the Vanquish Soul stuff, good reprints, and the Hungry Burger stuff? Yeah. Yeah, so this is actually, I like this set, but I think the value from this set is going to be later in life. Obviously Ground Xeno is really good. The Vanquish Soul stuff selling for relatively okay. Some of the Hungry Burger stuff is selling for pretty okay as well. But when I look at Wild Survivors, I think it's going to be a good box. I would even too, let's say you think it's going to be a bad box, I would just keep your eye on it, right? The type of thing of like, okay, I think it's going to be a bad box. Oh, look, I was right. Now it was $67.88. Now it's $65. Now it's $63. Now it's $60. But once it starts to get like 50, if it gets to like 55 or like 59 or $60, I would pull the trigger because there are a lot of really good reprints in here. And eventually, over time, unless there ends up being more reprints for the dinosaur and Hungry Burger stuff, which I doubt, this is going to be worth a good amount because everything's going to be like at least $1. Now, I did want to check something real quick. Very curious to see if I could just get that to go away. Okay. What a dinosaur deck looks like because of the reprints. Now, you do need the scrap package, the Evil Store stuff as well. And the scrap package and Evil, I don't actually think, was Evil Store actually, wait, Evil Store might have actually been in there already. I went too far back. There was definitely an Xyz monster that I thought looked like an Evil Store. Yes, Solda. Okay, so we got the Wild Survivors core for 16. I kind of just want to look at if it has the whole thing. So it's got baby UCT. This might be something where you just get it directly from TCG Player. What's this though? So we got, I don't know what that card is up there, but we got the 3 of the new fusion. I think it's just 3 of everything from Wild Survivors. Yes. So, interesting. If everything's a nickel here, how many cards are there? 57? 57, we'll just round down to 55. 55 times 5 is 110, is 220, 275. So that's like, I think it should be $2.75. So this is probably too expensive. So I would probably would be okay with getting dinosaur stuff on TCG Player, especially because a lot of people probably have it. But as far as the other dinosaur stuff that you need, like I said, you do need Evil Soar stuff, which is just, I spelled it wrong. It's the what is, okay? Well, I know its second name. Evil Czar It's a czar. Why no one tell me? Okay, so we're looking at like 50 cents for this. That's not that bad at all. I think this card didn't get the reprint. Am I crazy? Okay, this card's super cheap. Anyway. What else? I think Overtext wasn't. I don't think Overtext was in there. Cheap. And then the scrap stuff. I think you need Chimera. I think you need Wyron. I know you need Raptor. Oh, so this is all super cheap. So Dinosaurs is a really solid budget deck now. Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. That you could spend like $40 and get a top on a regional. Like I actually think that's a real thing. I'm definitely gonna take a look at it to see if I can get like a budget dinosaur deck. With all of these really, really solid reprints. Could be very, very good. And here's the thing too about this. This is the last thing I'll say. I mentioned dinosaurs earlier, and I said as long as Miscellaneous Saurus is at 1, this deck will be good. At the very least, a good rogue option. If Miscellaneous Saurus comes to 3, it's going to be a very, very good deck. And Wild Survivors is going to be very expensive because of it, right? But let me know what you guys think. What are the best cards that you were looking for out of Wild Survivors, or any cards in all of Yu-Gi-Oh? Let me know in those comments down below. Make sure you guys click that like button to show your support for the channel. Subscribe for more content. But most importantly of all, have a good day.